Hi, this is Dr. Richard Ruling, welcoming you to the Breaking News channel and wanting to look at some important information today from 5 biblical um, wedding messages. Three of them are parables of Christ, wedding parables. And one is the initial wedding message that was in history when God afflicted Egypt with judgment and took Israel to a covenant. Later said, I'm married to you at Sinai. It was when he did that covenant. And we're going to look at the parallels and how that each wedding message has a surprise, unlooked for calamity, and also potential high destiny. You know, if you stop to think about it, marriage changes people's lives, and it can be good. And so, if we understand it right, yes, it is for our good, and God in this is offering us options. If we really understand His Word well, we can do that. And so we're going to look at these things, starting the first of all is the first one in history, the Exodus from Egypt, when Israelites had been enslaved in bondage and even had their babies thrown in the river. And the point is to that America today is like Egypt, okay? It has enslaved millions in substances, alcohol, tobacco, drugs, different forms of bondage that people get into to sin, okay? And also thrown 63 million babies in the trash can, just like Egypt threw them in the river, the babies. So not good, and America is going to be getting judgment very soon. So we need to understand our options in the wedding parables. For Israel back in Egypt, it was they're going to the promised land, okay, and they had a good opportunity to be part of what God was doing, and it was clearly that God was doing it. It might not be as clear to us today because our brain is fogged over with so many issues, but yes, God is going to give us the options if we understand them from Scripture. And so that's the first one in history. We'll look at again when God took them to Sinai. He said, "If you keep my covenant, you'll be a kingdom." And actually, kingdom means dominion of a king by his laws. Okay, so he reminded them that I brought you out from the whip, the bondage, and so on, and because you love me, you will have no other gods. You will not make graven images. You will not make my name in vain. You'll remember the Sabbath to keep it holy as a memorial of creation. I'm the creator. God is saying you wouldn't be here if it weren't for me. And then the 6 commandments, those were the first 4. The 6 have to do with social happiness, basically. If we lie, cheat, and steal, we're not happy people. These are, if we do them, we're happier. Okay, so these are laws of destiny, happiness, and even health. Thou shalt not kill, with smoking, drinking, things like that, etc. We're killing ourselves. So anyway, that's long story short. Good things if we can make a covenant and keep a covenant, and that's what the wedding parables are about. So first one is history, Egypt to making a covenant. Second one is the 22nd chapter of Matthew, where the king makes a marriage for his son, and in this case he sends his servants to bid people to the wedding feast. And the remnant, which is in our time, scorn the wedding feast. I think it's because they want cake, steak, and milkshake, type of thing. But it's not about that. It's in the wedding parables have Passover imagery, and the feast at Passover is unleavened bread. Okay, it's not crackers, but it's not wedding cake either. We're talking about spiritual now, because when Christ said, "Beware the leaven of Pharisees," he was talking about their doctrines. And today, preachers have leavened the bread, made it light, easy. You can swallow it without even thinking. Well, not good. God wants us to understand His Word better than what we get from preachers, because they have made the bread light. And that's why He's going to send Elijah to restore all things. That's Matthew 17, verse 11, that he's going to send Elijah to restore all things. And we see in Malachi 4, verse 4 and 5, remember the law of Moses with the statutes and judgments. Behold, I send you Elijah. That's what those verses say. Well, clearly, statutes and judgments were a part of what we need for the wedding covenant. And we see in Ezekiel 20, verses 11 to 24, that they are, there's the statutes, judgments, Sabbaths, a sevenfold emphasis of statutes and judgments linked to Sabbaths as a sign of God's people. So that's something we will need. And as I think about it, a sevenfold emphasis is the book of Revelation, where you have 7 churches, 7 seals, 7 thunders, 7 trumpets, and so on. The sevens are for end time, and a sevenfold emphasis is a mark of end time truth that fits the 7 seals in the 6th chapter. Revelation 6, you have a white horse, a red horse, a black horse, and a pale horse. And then you have 3 more seals after that, and we want to be sealed. When Israel came back from Persia with Ezra and Nehemiah, they read the book of the law, and in Nehemiah 9, verse 38, they signed and sealed to it. They put their name on it as, hey, I'm going to do this. Well, they sealed to it, it says. Well, there are 7 seals in Revelation 6 chapter, starting there. It actually finishes later, but the point is we need to know what those topics are and commit to them and offer them to Christ as part of a covenant that we want to make with him. Because in Bible times, covenants were linked to sevens. And the person that was proactive, that wanted the covenant, like Abraham wanted a water well, made a covenant with Abimelech, and he said, here are 7 ewe lambs, okay? And that's Abimelech wanted to know what it's about. It's because I want a covenant with you. So we need to give, the proactive person needs to give 7 of something like the lambs. God was proactive with Israel. He gave them 7 feast days. They could make a vacation down to Jerusalem and eat lamb, okay, for the week, a Passover week. Again, in Sukkot, or Feast of Tabernacles in the fall, they ate lamb, okay, feast days. Well, and vacation too, opportunity for social opportunities in Jerusalem when they didn't have phones, email, and things like you can see me talking, but it was a social opportunity. So God was meeting their needs with these feast days, and I think God is a great God, and He's not asking us to do anything that's too difficult. He's just asking us, don't lie, cheat, and steal, do the bad things. That's not a happy society, etc. So hope you get it, and that's the second wedding parable about the parable of the wedding garment, where a man is the remnant get their city burned, and I'm not going to discuss that right now. Could do it later maybe, but well, I'll just tell you, I believe I'm coming from a Seventh-day Adventist background, and that church, I believe, is going to have their city burned, Loma Linda, because they did some stupid stuff, taking Ellen White, their prophet, sent $5,000 for to deposit on Loma Linda University. Actually, it wasn't a university at all then. She wanted to start a school to train missionaries with natural remedies. How good is that? That's great, natural remedies. But the dumb leadership wanted to get AMA accreditation and betrayed her school, hijacked it really, for AMA accreditation. They taught pharmacology, drugs. Well, those drugs are now a leading cause of illness and death. Adverse drug reactions. My former wife even died from one. She got a bladder infection, and she went to her doctor because I was retired, no longer practicing, and he gave her a prescription for Cipro, and in 3 days she didn't need it anymore. But some months later, got a rash. Okay, she wasn't taking any other drugs but that antibiotic for 3 days, and yet her doctor referred her to a hematologist who put her in the hospital, did a bone marrow, no platelets in the bone marrow, took out her spleen, still no better, treated her with transfusions and high steroids until she died of a stroke. Okay, now that's how great our medical care system is today. And I happened to remarry a woman I met on the internet, Christian registered nurse. Former husband died of the same antibiotic my wife died from. I felt that she was meant for me, good cook, etc. So happy at everything, but the bottom line is that drugs are more dangerous than you would guess, because the CDC is lying to us. They never tell us about adverse drug reactions as a leading cause of death. They want you to buy prescriptions for cholesterol, for blood pressure, for blood sugar, diabetes, and so on. You could avoid those, and if you go to my website, 3 words everybody wants, actually 4, health, happiness, and destiny.com. Health, happiness, and destiny.com. For $2.95, you can get a book digital, and that is, cheaper than you can get a video online at Amazon for $9.79 plus $4 shipping. But you get it free with buying a $295 book, okay? And you can reverse your blood pressure, diabetes, cholesterol, and so on without prescription drugs. It's Dr. Caldwell Esselstyn from the Cleveland Clinic explaining how, etc., on that video. So health, happiness, and destiny. Go there.com, and you can get the book. And I'm going to finish up these wedding parables right now. But basically, I'm not trying to get you to join any church. I believe that Seventh-day Adventists have more, but they've also made more mistakes in rejecting truth and light that I think Ellen White wrote about and supported. And you can get that also from a book, The Earthquake and Seven Seals. That's my book at Health, Happiness, and Destiny. If you see Muslims attacking Jerusalem in the coming month, and I believe it will be in the coming month, then you will want this book so you will know how to make a covenant with Christ and be his bride spiritually, perhaps, because the high-value wedding parable of Luke, and this is the third. We've discussed first in history, the Exodus. Second is Matthew 22, the parable of the wedding garment, and a man is thrown out for no wedding garment into outer darkness. Okay, won't go there right now. Third message, Bible message on weddings, is from Luke. That's the third book.